welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I wanted to talk about my 5 rules for keeping a clean home. So if you guys, and I talked about this in my last video, if you saw my video before, I had a really big, I used to have, and I still struggle with it like most people, a big victim mindset when it comes to motherhood. I found that keeping a house clean with a kid is like impossible. I used to say it's so hard, it's impossible. My laundry would be like up to the ceiling and literally a mountain my kids would climb. I had so much stuff. I was constantly like rotating toys in and out of the garage, and my house looked like a daycare. And it's not that there's anything wrong with having kids' toys and giving them accessibility to the things that they like, because, you know, that's crucial. Kids playing is so important, but I just felt like it ruled my life, and I was becoming like a sour mom at the end of every day because it was almost too much for me to clean and have any time to myself. It's like when the kids went to sleep, I should have been cleaning the house because it just wasn't done during their awake hours. So today I want us to talk about the things that I have massively shifted in my mindset, and also like practical things in my everyday life to manage a house with a family of 5 that homeschool, work from home, do everything from the house. But if you're new to my channel, my name is Haley, and I talk about nowadays like intentional mothering and organization, mindset for being a happy mom, as happy as I can be. I'm not perfect. So if that interests you, hit the subscribe button and like this video if you get value from it. And let's go ahead and get on to the video. Okay, so my very first rule is this. So it is whatever you have actually accessible to your children is the size mess that you are okay with cleaning up with at the end of every day. So let's imagine that if everything in your living room, like all the toys that you have nicely tucked away, so imagine that it wasn't already dirty. Imagine your living room was clean, but you have like a toy box and you have a toy bin and you have like walkers and little, you know, baby dolls and strollers, and they're kind of like nicely tucked away. Imagine if your kids, because this obviously happens in my own life, I don't know about you, but imagine if they dumped everything that was accessible to them toy-wise, or honestly not even toy-wise, but like books or like decorative objects. Imagine if it was dumped all on the floor. So the question you have to ask yourself is, how long would that take you to clean up at the end of every single day? So the goal for myself is to be able to pick up every single room 5 minutes or less at the end of every day. So if that means that I have a bunch of stuff dumped in the middle of my room, but it takes me more than 5 minutes, means I gotta weed things down and take things out. So my kids really live with a minimal approach to toys, I guess. They're totally fine with it. They're not deprived. They get toys on toys on toys from their grandparents and from friends, birthday parties, but I just make sure that I'm not a hoarder in that way. And even though I have multiple kids, I have 3 kids, I don't need to keep all the toys all the time. So we do a lot of donation, a lot of, we'll do like minimal toy rotation, which is another rule I'll get to in a minute. But my point is if it's taking you longer than 5 minutes per room at the end of every day to clean up, then it's time to get rid of some of that stuff. So for instance, I used to have like a whole bookshelf in my living room of like self-help books, like, I don't even know, like any kind of nonfiction, fiction books, like even adult books, like for myself, obviously. But I'd find that my little kids, my 3-year-old and my baby, every single day would dump all the books on the floor, and it would be annoying, and obviously I'd have to pick it all up. And telling them no, I mean, it's just kind of like, it's not enough of a reason. I have to really train them. Is it even worth it? Probably not. So I took all the books out. We no longer have like a bookshelf of books accessible to them. I put them in a black Costco bin in the garage. I get out a book like once every month. You know, I don't need to really display them in this phase of my life. It helps my sanity. So it's the same thing for throw pillows. Throw pillows, it's not a big deal to put them on the couch, but it just like adds to the mess at the end of every single day. Another reason why I personally like to have things cleaned up in 5 minutes or less and really keep minimal stuff in my house is because then my kids can actually help me. Now, my kids help me no matter what, because they have to. Like, I'm the parent, obviously, and they have to help pick up at the end of every day all of their, you know, their fun messes. Nothing wrong with making messes, obviously, but it can be really overwhelming for my 5-year-old and my 3-year-old to help me when the mess takes longer than, honestly, 5 minutes, but sometimes messes can take like 30 minutes to pick up, you know? So they're really more apt to do it on their own. So for instance, if I say, hey, Annabelle, to my 5-year-old, can you help your 3-year-old sister Scarlett pick up the living room before dinner time? They will do it all by themselves because there's really not that much to clean up. So you get more help from your kids when you have less stuff, and they just feel like, you know, more of a contributor to the family when it's not so overwhelming. So the second rule for, I guess, our house to keep a clean house with kids is to only rotate toys that are stored within the house on different days of the week. So a lot of people have, and we used to too, we used to have, and we still do, like these big black Costco bins full of all of the toys that they got tired of. Because honestly, as you know, little kids forget about toys, and then 6 months later you bring out a black bin and it is fun, right? They're like, oh my gosh, look, I don't even remember I had this toy. And it's like you didn't have to go out and buy toys because they just forget. It's amazing. And you have multiple kids. But I no longer do that approach to the fullest extent because it's just more things to manage. It's just more clutter. So right now we only have 2 black bins in our garage. One is for infant toys because if we have another baby, maybe one day, who knows, I'll have toys for them. I don't really like to throw out infant toys. If you keep having children, it's nice to have one box because each baby's not gonna remember, obviously. And then the second box I have for larger things that I can't store in the house, like Hot Wheel, like car tracks, train tracks, things like that. But I just keep one in the garage. As far as everything else, I do keep most, I would say like 80% of the bigger toys, puzzles, like Barbie things up in their closets to where they're not accessible to them. And this is really strategic for me because I like to have, I work during my quiet time or during their quiet time every single day for about an hour to 2. And so I like to rotate toys during their quiet time activity in the middle of the day so that it keeps things interesting, it keeps things fresh, and they're not bothering me because I have to get my work done. So what that looks like is in our craft area, I have paint by number, which is labeled in a bin. I have crayons and coloring books. I have Play-Doh, clay molding, like different Lego types of things, and they're all put away in labeled bins, and they come out depending on what day of the week it is. So we rotate toys very intentionally. It's not like we just take out, like we used to, a huge black bin and dump it on the floor and say, have at it. That is like a recipe for disaster, at least it was for me. And it is more exciting for the kid if they have like 30 minutes of intentional playtime with Play-Doh like a couple times a week versus if you give it to them all the time, it just kind of feels stale. It's not inspiring to them and they get bored of it just like any adult would, you know, playing with the same things all the time is not exciting. So that's why we rotate toys depending on the day of the week, and 80% of their stuff is kept in places to where they don't have access to it. Now, obviously, if my child will ask, hey mom, can I play with the Play-Doh? I will let them play with whatever. But I promise you, if it's not out, they just forget about it and they're okay with it. They usually just play with the toys that they have.
I also wanted to mention, I totally forgot, but I got these really cool, like, I think they're, I don't know, wicker, rattan, I don't know what they are, but they're from Pottery Barn. I'll link them below. They are not cheap, but I know I'm going to have them for definitely a decade. This is where I store all of our like blankets, and I used to have kids' toys in here, but it just got kind of crazy. So yeah, we do like blanket storage in here, but you can definitely store like kids' toys or, you know, things like that.
So the third rule I have for keeping my house clean and I mean most of the time organized is about laundry. So we have a family of 5, and wow, once I had my second kid, it felt like I was some type of laundry machine, and after a while it would just get backed up because I would forget about it. I would have to do some work online or whatever. So right now my like mental state most of the time is I try to not keep laundry a big deal. Nowadays my mindset is I do laundry 3 times a day. So I set an alarm on my phone. It's a little psychotic, but it's the only way that I'm going to stay on top of laundry and it doesn't become a big deal. So right when I wake up, I switch the laundry, I put away a load. I do the same thing after lunch and the same thing after dinner. Most of the time we only have to do it twice a day unless I forget one and I snooze my alarm or whatever on my phone, then I will have to do it 3 times a day. But most of the time it's just once or twice a day, and I make sure to have my kids involved so they know when my alarm goes off twice a day, most likely, that we're all gonna do the laundry, we're all gonna put it away. So it obviously helps my kids are with me all the time, they're homeschooled, they kind of like know the drill by now. But yeah, laundry is definitely a shared task with the family, and it gets done on a periodic like rotation to where no one has to begrudge it because it's not like a mountain of laundry. The 4th rule for keeping a clean house is a simple one that I feel like most people do, but I honestly got, call me gross, whatever, but I got out of this habit because it's truly like a habit when I was working from home full time with 2 little kids, trying to like, you know, have intentional time with them, trying to keep up with the house, trying to grow a, you know, decent sized business with my husband. Things fall by the wayside when you have like obligations that isn't just being with your kids and cleaning. I had to make it a habit to clean up after every single meal with my whole family. So at first we had to train our kids, and this was really something that came to light when I read the Habits book. I forget what it's called, but I'll link it down below. It's from Charlotte Mason, and it's basically a habit training book for little kids, because the concept is if you train your kids in instilling habits in them from the ages of like whatever, even like 1 year old to 7, they have that habit for life, and it's almost like a automatic response to life, and it really serves them. So habits like making sure you wash your hands like after coming home from anywhere, like the park, the grocery store. So my kids immediately run to the bathroom because we've used this book. I've trained them on this one habit of washing your hands. I know it's simple, but a lot of kids don't, and you have to be like, wash your hands, and they don't want to, you know? So I've trained them on that. And so once I started training them on bringing their plate to you know, the sink and scraping it off, putting it in the dishwasher at a really young age, I started realizing I could train them on anything, things that will better their life. So one of the things that I really focused on this last year is the whole family joyfully, I know it's hard, but it's hard at first, but it becomes easy over time, joyfully cleans the kitchen with each other after every single meal 3 times a day. So it used to be like pulling teeth, especially for my eldest. She's like very strong-willed. So, or I would say, Annabelle, like, let's, you know, can you help me empty the dishwasher? Oh, I want to play. Like, I don't want to do it. So I kept doing it every single day nicely, you know, in a happy attitude. I wasn't like, do it or you're gonna be punished, you know. I tried to utilize the stuff from the book, and it's so good. You should get it down below. And then after 2 weeks, it was just like an automatic thing. We all did it after every meal, and it just, if you keep on top of the dishes and the kitchen, if the kitchen is clean in my experience, it feels like your whole house is manageable. So the 5th rule is declutter on a monthly basis. So I used to wait until my house, and like honestly, all of our clothing was such a source of stress, because when you have more clothes, you have more laundry, you can't keep on top of things. My 2 girls like to change outfits. They like fashion as much as the next girl. So they would change their clothes like 3 times a day because they just felt like it, because they had accessibility to a bunch of different clothes. So nowadays, I make sure that they only have in their wardrobe what I can manage with the laundry. So I'm gonna do a separate video on like what I keep in their wardrobe nowadays. It's like very minimalist, high quality, but minimalist clothes. And I'll talk about where I shop and everything like that. But right now, we only have about like 5 dresses each, a couple shirts, some shorts, leggings, 1 jacket, 1 sweater, and I think like, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 pairs of shoes each. And I don't know, when I say it sounds like a lot, but it's really not a lot, because my kids all share 1 tiny closet and 1 dresser. So we have a small house. We only have 3 bedrooms. The master bedroom, 1 is an office because we work from home, and 1 is a room where my 2 girls share in the same bed, and I sleep with the baby and my husband sometimes. He switches beds, and it's like musical beds. Anyways, I digress. So yeah, we have a really small house, like living area. Our house is like a big add-on, but our living area is really small. So I have to make sure that all 3 kids can share 1 dresser and 1 tiny closet. So that means I cannot be a hoarder of clothes. I do keep in our garage like 1 bin per child of extra clothes, because I have a hard time like getting rid of like every single baby clothes when they wear it like 1 time, and I might have another child, I don't know. So we make sure that they only have clothes in their closet that I can manage with our laundry system. So that's like different for every person depending on how often you want to do laundry. But before, I would have like 20 dresses or even like more in their closet, and it would literally be like a mountain of clothes on the floor every single day. So now I've weeded everything out, and honestly, it's just a rule that I have to have, or else I'm going to be a slave to the laundry. So that's pretty much it for my 5 rules for keeping a tidy house. Subscribe if you are new, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.